right, this video is about calculating flow rates for drip lines. So first of all, I'm going to turn the spigot on, make sure the hose is off, drip line is open, and spigot is going all the way, which is 3 1/3. Generally, when I do the drip lines, I have both the valves going. We have that one turned on, and I have this one turned on. So that one is off, that one's open, leads to the drip lines. This one only goes on 1.5-ish. Here's the options that I use. We've got the lowest flow orange line. The next one up, medium low, is light green. Medium high is dark green. And the last one is blue. Now, when I do all of them at the same time, every valve is open. So all zones are on at the same time. And to do a calculation, we're going to use the 16-ounce cup here. We're going to time and see how long it takes to fill up this cup. All right, this one's almost full. All right, that one was about 50 seconds to fill up 16 ounces. Now we'll do an orange one. All right, that was 2 minutes and 55 seconds to fill up an entire 16-ounce cup with an orange spot spitter. Now here is a light green one. All right, that was 2 minutes and 16 seconds to fill up 16 ounces with a light green. And then sometimes it comes out too fast on some lines, but not enough on other lines. So what I'll do is just go around and turn off all the lines that I don't want to run and leave it on the one that I do. And now all of the pressure is running to the pepper lines. So we'll see how long it takes to fill up with all of the pressure on one zone. First up, we'll do the orange. All right, that was 1 minute to fill up an entire 16-ouncer. I'm gonna put a green one on and we'll time it again. Here we go. All right, that was about 22 seconds or so. All right, that was 41 seconds. All right, now since these lines are connected, I can just turn this one on and all the pressure will go over here to the porch. And with both that one and that one open, I can water all of the large containers and the trees with all of the pressure. And we'll do the blue one now. This one is 360 degrees. All right, the blue one was about 37 seconds. And then to turn on the boxes, I just turn off the porch. That diverts the water over here to the boxes. You see guys down here. And when that's done, to turn on the front line, all I gotta do is pull that one over and turn that one off and that one off. And now I have all the pressure running through the front yard. And these are all a different setup altogether. I've got this style with a 1/4 inch, whereas the spot spitters use the 1/8 inch line. All right, I just did the front, and each one is 1 minute 20. And every plant has its own drip. All right, after doing all the math, front yard with its variable emitter, 0.2 ounces per second, 52 emitters, 4.875 gallons per minute. If I run it for 10 minutes, 48.75 gallons, and if I run it for 15 minutes, 73.125 gallons. The orange spitters for zones 1 through 6, there's 143 of them. There's the low flow when I'm doing the whole yard all at the same time. Whole thing runs for 10 minutes. When I'm doing each line by itself, it's run for 4 minutes. So here's the gallons, 61.29 doing the whole system all at once, 71.59 doing 4 minutes per zone. Here's the light green spitter, low flow, 70.62 ounces in 10 minutes because there's only 4 of them. And 93.6 ounces in 4 minutes. So the grand total between all 4 is 2.21 gallons doing the whole system and 2.925 gallons doing just the zones. Here's the dark green spitter. We've got 25 of them on zones 1 through 6. Grand total on those is 37.5 gallons on the low full system setting and 85.25 gallons when running just the zones by themselves. And zones 1 through 6, the low flow is what I do 99% of the time, and the high flow is what I do very rarely and very occasionally. So low flow is 101 gallons. If I ever do the high flow, it's usually not the entire yard, but if it was the entire yard, it would be 159.77 gallons. And the watering schedule is done 3 times a week. There is supplementation with the stuff that's not on drip lines, but for everything that's on drip lines, that's this right here. And here's zones 7 and 8. It is only run on the single zone by itself, and this was tested with both spigots going, though usually I only run one of the spigots, so this is an absolute maximum. So between the light green with the 2 emitters, dark green with 18, blue with 2, and orange with 12 spitters, we've got a grand total of 69.07 gallons, and I run the porch and the boxes for 7 minutes each. The orange one is the boxes, and the blue, dark green, light green are the porch. Porch is zone 7 and boxes is zone 8. But the grand total between all 14 of those minutes is 69.07 gallons. For the hose flow, that's everything that is not on drip lines. I use the hose with 3 1/3 turns of the main spigot, which is all the way on. I have a shower nozzle. It only has 2 settings, either on or off, and so it's not variable. The on setting is 2 gallons per minute. When I do the whole yard saturation, it takes 2 hours, and that's me counting 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds per container. And that's up to 240 gallons. I do that once a week if it's hot, or once every 10 days if it's like today we had a rain shower. So I probably won't do it this week. It'll be once every 10 days if it's not as hot. For the fertilizing, there are 12 buckets, 4 gallons each, which is 48 gallons. I apply fertilizer twice a week, so that's 96 gallons a week. All right, here we are with the absolute maximum. This was done using the highest calculation setting, so it is up to this number. Zones 1 through 6, 303 gallons a week. Fertilizing, 96 gallons a week. Zone 7 and 8 on the porch, 207.21 gallons a week. Front yard is done twice, so it's 97.5 gallons a week, for the grand total of 703.71 gallons absolute maximum per week, which averages out to about 100 gallons a day or 3,000-ish gallons a month. And comparing it to manual watering, last time I did it, it was a count of 7,250 seconds. And with the nozzle shower full spigot use, that was 4.27 ounces per second, which is 241.86 gallons in that 7,250 seconds. If I were to do that 3 times a week, which is what I did approximately 2 to 3 times a week before I had all the drip lines set up, that would be 725.58 gallons. I'll then add the front yard drips, because I don't do that manually. That is 823.08 gallons per week. Now I know that seems like a lot, but compared to the lawn, it is not. The lawn, according to Google Earth, is 3,492 square feet. And the recommended amount of water to put on a lawn to keep it healthy in clay soil is 1/2 inch. So doing all the math on that equates to 145.5 cubic feet of water at 7.48 gallons per cubic foot. That is 1,088 gallons per application. So if you do 2 applications a week, that's 2,176 gallons. And at 3 applications a week, that's 3,264 gallons of water to water a lawn that you mow and throw away. Here's the final calculations with the front yard running twice on the drips per week, backyard drips 3 times per week, plus the fertilizer. 703.71 gallons are used. If I were to do manual backyard 3 times a week, plus the front yard drips, plus the fertilizer, that'd be 919.08 gallons per week. And then lawn twice a week would be 2,176 gallons. And 3 times a week would be 3,264 gallons. So drips and manual versus lawn. So minimum is based on 2 applications a week. Maximum is based on 3 applications a week. So minimum drips, 67.6% less water used. Maximum of 78.4 less water used versus lawn. If I were to do it all manual, a minimum of 57.8% less water used versus lawn, and a maximum of 71.8 less water used versus lawn. As for me, I drink about a gallon a day, and it is normal water with a flavor packet in it. This one is the True Lemon Strawberry. This is concentrate. This is the high magnesium. And I add 1 drop of this for every 2 ounces of water. So what does all of this water get me? It gets lots of stuff. It gets me the grapes, it gets me flowers, it gets me roses, it gets me tomatoes, melons, fruit trees, though that's not even on a drip line. Fruit trees do get whatever seeps into the ground. So nothing is ever actually wasted. It gets me all these peppers and the pepper seeds that I sell, and the peppers themselves that we make salsa and stuff out of. I don't have any lawn, and the only real grass that I have is right over here that I keep around for the cats. That's it. That's my lawn. That's all the real grass that I grow right there. I take that back. This is the only other grass that I grow. And this is mostly grown for the seeds so that I can grow it and sell it at work. But everything else is harvestable, it's beautiful, has a purpose. It's not just lawn that I'm growing to cut to throw away. Well, hello, Nilla, pretty kitty.